Hi, everybody, and welcome to episode 100 of the TV Knitting Podcast. Wow, it's my Podiversary. I cannot believe that I've done 100 shows. Now, some of you may be wondering why there are only 20 shows, counting this one, on YouTube, and that is because I only started video recording last year. I have done 20 video shows. So, yeah, as a matter of fact, today I am going to tell the story of how I started podcasting in my 3-part Getting to Know Me episode, where I talk about me. And of course, that is fun. Anyway, I'm being silly. So, my name is Sharon. I'm also known as Stitch Mistress pretty much everywhere on the internet. And yeah, let me jump right in. Let me talk about how I became interested in podcasting. I still listen to several audio podcasts as well as watch video podcasts. And in 2012, I decided to start my own podcast. And at the time, I was really into listening to podcasts about television. And I was also listening to podcasts about knitting, obviously. And I decided to start a podcast, kind of mashing them both together, and I named it TV Knitting Podcast. And that's why I have the name TV Knitting Podcast. And in the beginning, I really talked a lot about television shows that I was interested in, and many people enjoyed that. I didn't enjoy it so much because it was a lot of work. Just talking about your knitting is easy for me. Doing research about what's trending in TV and talking about shows and giving reviews, it's like doing book reviews every week. And that's not my thing, really. So I did 80 episodes that way, and the TV kind of got less and less. And then when I switched to video, I stopped talking about TV. And it's kind of interesting at this point in my entertainment consumption, I am not watching much TV at all. I go in spurts. At the time, 4 years ago, I was watching a lot of TV. Right now, I'm not, because a lot of what's on the networks isn't really interesting me anymore. And I am getting most of my entertainment from YouTube, actually. So for someone my age, that's a little odd, I know, but age is only a number. I feel like I'm 20 most of the time, so I dress like I'm 20. It's okay. Anyway, so in 2012, I decided to start my own podcast called TV Knitting Podcast. I talked about TV and knitting, did that for 80 episodes, and then I decided to try my hand at video podcasting in 2015. And I have 20 episodes on YouTube. I want to say that the first 15, I'm not really happy with the video quality because I finally kind of learned how to use my camera, and I'm still learning how to use my camera. I record on a DSLR, and I'm still learning that. I mean, if you notice, my background setup is different every time I record because I'm still trying to find the setup that I like and the lighting that I like. And we'll see. I mean, like today, it's a bright sunny day, so I used my camera that focuses rather than my other camera, which is better in low light. And I don't know. We'll see how it looks. And I have more of, not so much just my head. I have more of everything else. It's a wider angle today. So we'll see. We'll see what I like. So that's why it looks a little different every time. And I'm still playing with that. It's kind of fun. I hope it doesn't drive you crazy. So that's it. You'll only find 20 video episodes, including this one, on YouTube. However, I'm expecting there to be a lot more because I'm really enjoying video podcasting. It's lots of fun, and I'm trying to go every week. All right, that's a lot of me talking. So I just have one more thing to say before I get into knitting and spinning and such. But if you are watching on iTunes, you will notice that episode 98 is not on iTunes. And going forward, episode from 101 and 102 will likely not be on iTunes either. So if you're missing any episodes, go to the YouTube channel. I'm toying with the idea of posting all my videos to YouTube and then ripping the audio and putting it up on iTunes audio only. And then I can publish all of the shows that way. It's up, I don't know. See what you guys think. I may put a poll up in my group and see what you guys would like. If you're interested, I know I like iTunes videos for traveling because I can load them on my iPad and watch them on a plane when I don't have Wi-Fi access. But there are ways to get video downloaded to your computer, to your laptop, so you can watch it without Wi-Fi. And I may post that in my group. I know I've done it before. So anyway, we'll see going forward what I decide to do. All right, so this brings us to the giveaway. Now, I promised a giveaway when I have 500 YouTube subscribers, and I have, as of 10 minutes ago, I have 516 subscribers. So I'm going to give you another week to post in the TV Knitting Podcast Ravelry group. Post that you've subscribed, and then I will do that drawing next week. So yes, thank you so much. And I will have another giveaway incentive when I reach 1,000 subscribers. And I'll just keep that same thread open and beyond. We'll see. I don't think I'll get more than that. But anyway, so thank you for everybody who subscribed so far. I really, really appreciate it. It just means so much to me, and you guys are the best. I've gotten some great comments in my group from everybody, and all positive things, which is so awesome. So thank you, thank you, thank you. You guys are amazing, and I would not be doing this without you, because when you first start podcasting, when I first started doing the audio podcast, it's like 3 people listen, maybe not even. But Paula from the Knitting Pipeline mentioned me, and then I had more and more listeners. So I've always been a really small podcast with, not huge numbers, which is fine. As long as 10 people watch, I'm good. So thank you again. All right. That's way too much talking, so let's get to what I have been working on since I last talked to you, which is only 5 days previously. So anyway, okay. I have far too many whips for me. I ideally would like 2, maybe 3. And I have considerably more than that. I don't think I have 10. I probably have 6. That's way too many. I'll count them and I'll put it in the down bar. Too many for me. Because I have some that I'm not talking about today. Anyway, I knit a lot on this yesterday. I'm in the middle of the row, sorry. I knit a lot on this rainbow along scarf yesterday at the hairdresser. And it's coming out great. I'm almost done with this cake. It's almost gone. And I will then start on this pretty cake. So these are hand spun out of a bat from Good Karma Farms. And it's coming out great. This pattern is the Yowza Way It Shawl 4 by Susan B. Anderson. And it's beautiful. Remember last week when I talked about Plucky Knitter and how I said that I didn't knit with my Plucky yarn? I haven't knit with it yet. I have knit with it. I lied. I knit a hat with a really beautiful pink pom-pom on top. And so, yeah, I feel a little better about that now. And then I decided to cast on the chunky. Ooh, this is a much better representation of the color this week. I showed you this last week. And I don't have the tag. It's Plucky Knitter yarn in a bulky. And it was, I think it was just a limited release of this bulky yarn. And it's all sorts of loveliness. Alpaca, cashmere, silk. I think that was the combination, but beautiful. So I started a cowl. And this is where I'm going to be very humble, because I'm a lace knitter. I love knitting lace. It is my favorite type of knitting to do. And I messed this project up big time. I must have knit the second repeat 3 times now. And I finally put in markers because I've discovered that even though I've knit a lot of lace in my knitting career, I still need markers in between repeats, or I'm going to mess it up. Well, I don't know if you're going to be able to see this, but I completely messed it up again. I noticed it this morning. I mean, it's really bad. These lace motifs, here's one, do not line up. I mean, they're like 3 stitches off. Here's one here. Here's one here. They do not line up at all. So, no one would ever know. But I am going to rip it out because it's not that many rows because it's chunky. But what's annoying me is I've already ripped it out 3 times. And it's going to be beautiful. I will put the pattern in the down bar because I don't have it with me. It's free on Ravelry and it's coming out great. I just can't knit late at night because this is kind of like my evening knitting and I keep messing it up. And I had a glass of wine last night, so that probably didn't help. But I shouldn't even say that. I knit this morning. I re-knit this lace this morning, the second repeat again, and I still mess it up. I looked at it after I was done with all the repeats and said, huh, that's not lining up at all. Because what happened was when I ripped it out, I lost my beginning of marker, my beginning of round marker. Oh well, I'll fix it. So no matter how much knitting you've done in the past, or your level of competence with knitting, you can still mess up. Okay, so I have a finished object, which is actually not finished, but here they are. These are the blockhead socks. They're a sock blank by Gail's Art, and they're pretty much finished. All right, so as you can see, I blocked these, and all of that waviness from knitting the kinky yarn is pretty much gone. And my advice to you is that if you knit a sock blank, I would suggest that you either go down a needle size or you cast on less stitches than you normally do, because when I blocked this, what's going to happen if you knit the yarn and it's kind of kinked up when you knit it, what's going to happen when you block it? That's right, it stretches out because all of that kinkiness relaxes. So these fit fine because they're 0 ease. They were negative ease when I was knitting them. Now they're 0 ease. I don't mind socks with 0 ease. It doesn't bother me. They're a little, no, I shouldn't say they're that long, really. I have really big feet. And I knit a Fish Lips Kiss heel, and it looks great. I'll see if I can post a picture as to how perfect this is on my heel. But when I knit these again, I'm going to I cast on 64 stitches. I'll probably cast on 60 next time I knit a pair of these. And because they're just a little bit on the loose side. But I know some people that will drive them insane and they won't wear the socks. I don't mind. I don't mind floppy socks. Some people that drives them crazy, it doesn't bother me. Now, I'm calling them done, but see, I have the tail still on. I'm not happy with this ribbing at all. I don't think it came out well. So I'm going to rip this back, and I'm redoing the ribbing in a 2x2, and I'm going to add a little length to the socks, I believe. And so what I decided to do is I'm going to do this one at a time, because I just got tired of this tangling up like crazy. So I'm ripping the blank out and making 2 little balls to finish. So it's easier now that they're just detached from the socks. Yeah, I finished them, tried them on, I'm like, not so crazy. The top of them, I love the socks, but the top, wasn't so crazy about it. So I'd like to make them just a smidge longer too. They're not quite 6-inch cuffs, so I'll make them just a little longer. So all in all, a fun knit, and moving forward, I will make those adjustments. Speaking of the Fish Lips Kiss heel, I wanted to show you my sock blank here, or my sock mold. I did this out of cardboard, and this is from the pattern, the Fish Lips Kiss heel. And the pattern is intimidating. It's 16 pages long, but I absolutely love this pattern. Love, love, love. And they fit just perfect. So take the time, make your foot mold. Someone on another podcast suggested I can't remember who this is, and I'm sorry for not giving credit. Someone suggested going to the dollar store and buying plastic placemats for $1 and doing that. That's amazing. And speaking of $1, if you haven't bought the Fish Lips Kiss heel, go buy it. It's $1. It is the best pattern, and I think it fits so many different foot types. Highly recommend. Highly, highly recommend the pattern. I've knit so many socks with a fish lips heel, and once you get going on it, it's such an easy heel to knit. I think you guys would be very happy. Okay, let's talk about some car knitting, shall we? I wanted a little tiny drawstring bag to put in my purse, and I used this little sheep stash bag that I got when I got the little tiny wooden sheep to give as Christmas presents. So I put this in that bag. So I wound up my Valentine's Day socks. I think they're really beautiful. And I have a wee toe. And I'm very excited about these socks. They're going to be very, very festive for Valentine's Day, fun to knit, and I love knitting socks in the car. Love it. So I started those yesterday, and I just knit a little bit today while we went out and did some errands and picked up some things. Okay, so I started a barn raising square from the teeny weeny little skein that I picked out of my beer bag last week, and it's wee. Very tiny. There's the yarn. This is Space Cadet, and it's so soft. It's her mini skein club, 70% merino, 20% cashmere, and 10% nylon. And it's her Aurora base, and she didn't name the color. So I'm enjoying that, and I have it on my signature needles. And I'm keeping my signature needles in this little needle keeper by Slip Stitch Studios, and it has poodles on it. And I love poodles. I own one. Oh, it has chihuahuas on it too. So that keeps my signatures safe because I am terrified of losing one. I'd be heartbroken. And I'm the kind of person that things just disappear on me. So I'm really being careful with these. Next work in progress is the test knit shawl for Kristen of Wool and Vine Yarns. And here it is. It's getting bigger. Here's a close-up of the stitch pattern. I'm almost to the point where I can start the other charts. I think there's 2 more charts to do. And it has an applied border, which I'm not a huge fan of those because I'd rather do a border that's really long so I don't have to keep going back and forth, but I'm looking forward to it because it's beautiful yarn. Okay, so that's about it for what I'm working on. And I really don't have any stash acquisitions to show you because you saw everything 5 days ago. I do have some things coming in, so you'll see when that happens. But About 3 weeks ago, I did make a purchase, and I didn't show it to you, but I thought I'd show it to you today, is I got blocking boards from Knit Picks. And on here are my barn raising squares. That's the first barn raising square I ever made. This is the last one. They're a little on the tight side even after blocking, so like I said, I went up a needle size. But I'm very happy with these blocking boards. I got 2 sets from Knit Picks, and I definitely needed the 2 sets because when I blocked my sweater, I needed to expand the original squares that I got. I think there's 6, so I needed to put 8 out. And most of them fit on my table behind me for blocking, so that works out well. And I don't have a bed anymore that I can block on because there's no, we used to have an empty, well, no, actually I could block I do have an empty bed in the spare room downstairs, but the cat sleeps on it. And I don't think he'd bother my knitting. I just don't want him to get hurt with the pins and all that. So I got these and love them. Love them very much. And the other thing that I got a few weeks ago, and I never showed you, was another Pom Pom. And this is going on some sort of hat that I haven't made yet. But it's really pretty. I got it on Etsy, and I will put the shop in the show notes. It came from overseas, and it took a while to get here, but it's worth it because it's fuzzy and I love it. I got some pom-pom makers to make pom-poms, so that's in my future. I've never done it before. Spinning. Whoa. I wanted to show you both bobbins of this, and I ended up showing you this horrible one, which I'll talk about in a minute. Okay, this is what I meant to show you. So I finished the braid that I finished the first braid of the 2 braids from Into the World. I showed you the intact second braid last week, and these are them. And I spun this one on the Woolly Winder flyer with this Anchorworks bobbin, and it was giving me problems because the Woolly Winder was pulling it in too tightly. And I know there's fixes for that. You can lace the yarn around. I can't be bothered doing that. So I switched to my regular flyer, and it didn't pull in the yarn as much, and I had a better spinning experience, spinning fine, and they're beautiful, both of them. So I'm going to spin the other braid, and I'm going to ply the other braid with these 2. And I talked about it last week. I'm going to separate the other braid into very, very long color repeats. I think there's 4 colors, and hopefully I'll get some sort of gradient out of that. And I'm going to knit a novum, probably in 2 years. When I finish it, I don't know. We'll see. I probably won't knit that novum till next year, which is fine. I'm not in any rush. But yeah, I'm looking forward to getting this one done. But again, I'm not going to rush it. So I decided to try something new with spinning, and I decided to try my hand at core spinning. Core spinning's hard. This was the first bobbin I got. It's horrible. It's garbage. It's probably gonna go in the garbage. I used JC Boggs' Craftsy class, on spinning art yarns, and great class. You know, I liked what she was teaching me and learned, but I had to make some adjustments. So this was spun on my regular flyer, and I tried my regular flyer with this. Did not work. I have a matchless, and the matchless has hooks and a very small orifice. This kept getting caught on the hooks. It just wasn't pulling in correctly. It was a mess, and it got very, very over twisted. I mean, this is like really twisted. So I switched to my woolly winder flyer, and it went a lot better. Although it's nowhere near what I would like it to be. So I switched to the woolly winder flyer, and I used my largest whirl pulley, which is about this big. Because you really, when you're core spinning, I found out the hard way that you don't want to put a lot of twist in. Well, you need to have a balance of twist and tension of pulling in. You can't stop treadling because it's not going to work. And you can't treadle too fast because then you'll have too much twist in your core. So let me explain to you. I'm so sorry. Core spinning is when you take a yarn, like say I took this yarn. I did not, but say I took this yarn, and what I did was I would use this as a core, and then I would take fiber and I'd apply the fiber onto this yarn, and then it creates a yarn with an outer layer of fiber, and then inside you'll have the original yarn that you're not supposed to see. Now, if you look at this bobbin, I tried some white. I had the black underneath and then the white, and you can really see on the white, my core is orange. You shouldn't be able to see that. So if you can see on my bobbin, you'll see parts where the core is showing through. And actually, the white yarn is white, and it really looks pink because you can really see the core. And that is not what you want. I mean, some of it's good, like this one here. This is good. But this one, if that's focusing, I don't know, I can't see if it's focusing, but this one is not good because you can see the orange core. So I was on Instagram last night posting about this, and I tagged Lala from the Knitmore Girls, Laura from the Knitmore Girls, and she's such a lovely, lovely person. She gave me some advice. So one piece of advice that she gave me, which I thought was great, was to spin your core in the opposite direction first before you start core spinning. And that will take out the twist. So I'm spinning my yarn with Z twist, which means that my spinning wheel is going to the right. So what I'll do tonight when I try again is that I will take the core, like say this, I'm not using this, but I'll use something else. I'll take a small ball of yarn, and I will then run it through my wheel in the opposite direction. I will run it through my wheel with S twist, with the wheel moving to the left. And that will take out some of the twist in this core yarn. So then when I go to spin Z twist to the right, it won't be as twisty. That was a great tip. So then I posted later on that I was doing better with the core spinning. However, the core was showing through. And Lala graciously replied to me and said, that is because of the angle in which I held my fiber to get it on the core. So you're supposed to hold it perpendicular, and I know I'm holding it kind of back like I'm normally spinning, so I have to hold it, see, with my finger out that way, and I was holding it more at an angle, and that's why I'm getting this to show through, which is not desirable. So tonight I am going to watch JC Boggs again. I've watched her 6 times now. I'm going to spin my core in the opposite direction to take out twist, and I'm going to make sure that my fiber is coming onto the core this way. I'll let you know how it goes. So some other tips if you want to try core spinning. JC Boggs recommends that you use pin drafted roving to start, and I have plenty of that, so that's what I started with. And once I get a small sample complete where none of the core is showing through and I'm happy with it, I'm going to find a bat in my extensive bat stash and I'm going to core spin the whole bat. So stay tuned for that. I hope that I can get to that level, because it's just, I have some beautiful, shiny, sparkly bats that I think would look amazing core spun. So yeah, so I'm excited. So that's been fun to kind of try that and learn something new. I love learning new things. Love, love, love learning new things. Oh, and by the way, thank you everybody for giving me support about that lady who called me too old to sew last week. Yeah. You guys were saying that that was rude, and you know, now that I think about it, yeah, that was very rude of her to say that to me. Yeah, you're never too old to learn anything. Nope. Just practice it enough and it may not be perfect, but it'll come. Okay, so there's only one more thing that I want to talk about. And this is my crazy shining through. So I'm knitting these barn raising squares, right? I'm enjoying knitting them. It's going to take me forever. So what do? What have I kind of decided to do? I'm going to knit a Cozy Memories blanket concurrently. Yeah, that's probably not the best choice. However, I don't want to waste the rest of these minis. Now I could trade them, you know, that's fine, but they're so pretty, and I'm thinking that one of these blankets will be for Emily someday when she moves out, and I would like to keep the other one. So I am going to start a Cozy Memories blanket. I have a pattern, and I'd like to use these entire balls. They're about 8 grams. So I probably will make my squares pretty big. You know, they won't be tiny, tiny little squares. They'll be probably twice as big as some of the scrap blankets that I've seen. So, yeah, I just have to find the right needle and the time. Right? We just don't have enough time, guys, to do all the wonderful crafts that we want to do. With that, I'm going to end the show. I hope you guys have a great week. I will see you next week. If you are an iTunes listener, please go to YouTube and watch the show there, because I know I'm not going to have enough bandwidth to post any more shows after this one. I'll put a poll up in my thread to see if you guys would like me to just publish the audio of this show to iTunes. Up to you. I'll see if I get any interest in that. And yeah, that's it. So happy Podiversary to me. And next week I'll have the drawing for the YouTube subscriber incentive, which is a $50 gift certificate to the Loopy U. I'll give out some patterns. I'll give out some yarn from my stash. I have some nice things that I probably am not going to use, and I'll give those away. And I have other yarn from my LYS that I'll probably shop for the giveaway. So stay tuned for that next week. And again, I hope you have a great week. Cheers.